the City of Monona Finance and Personnel Committee. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Here.
Mayor O'Connor.
Here. Is there a motion to approve? We have several sets of minutes here to approve the minutes of August 15th and 19th, September 3rd, and October 7th.
I will so move.
I will second. Are there any questions or edits, additions? I don't have any either. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Minutes are approved. There are no appearances. There is no unfinished business. While we wait for Alder DePula, we're going to skip down to item 6E, which is discussion of the quarterly financial report. And, Mark, if you'd like to.
Sure. Yes, so this is through September 30th this year. Made a lot of notes on these, I usually do. Paper jumps out at you, but I'll kind of give you a brief overview. The general fund is right on target. There's some shortages and overages, but in the end, we're running what we're supposed to be budgeted. On page 34, just want to put a couple notes. In the licensing permits, we still haven't received the balloon permit yet. That'll be, once they have that, we'll be right on target.
How is it they can be building if they haven't?
They have a,
Start.
what's it called?
Early start.
Early start permit.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
all right.
But they're working that out, and they'll have that within the next 2 or 3 weeks or so.
Okay.
Fines and forfeitures, we are going to be a little short this year on that, but there's a good side. The parking violations are up with that.
They are up?
I mean, the parking violations were already 100%. So,
Okay.
than we have in the past.
I'm assuming that means we're spending more time up with the high school area parking. Okay.
Pretty much everything else is kind of right on target or above. We will have a little bit of interest income this year over some savings there. Depends, we'll see if the next rate cut, see how that's going to be with that. So there will be a little bit of overage there. Page 36, bill close your ears. We've had a lot of stuff going on this year at the legal. On page 36, we just got one bill just recently for the Kinsler property. It was almost $10,000. So, and they're threatening, I think, at one time to go to the Supreme Court with us. So little things like that, just keep on up. Just, those little lawsuits do add up a ton of time like that. But that's one of those lawsuits we have to do for that property. I kind of made notes on each different department where they're at. Page 38 is another one where it's just a software for data processing. That's our IT support. It's probably going to be projected over. We're going to have a little savings, but just that one's it's tough. We need them more than often than we're budgeted for. We'll get a call that there's, something's down. They'll have to come in on their days they're not supposed to. It just adds up. I mean, it's nothing we can do. We have Leah and the assistant chief, Sarah, will do a lot of it, but there's only so much they can do with that. So that is adding up. It's also one of the things we have in the referendum to kind of correct that. So we have page 42, just kind of want to, street maintenance. This public works, I just want to talk about that, because it looks like in page street maintenance and construction, if you look at it, we're 88% or almost 89%. If you add up all the public works totals in the general fund, which would be the street maintenance, shop, forestry, and highways, buildings. Echo? We're at 70%, so, we're supposed to be at 75, so we're on target with that. So that's one of the things you look at public works, it's hard. You have to kind of look at it as in total for those. This year they're spending a ton more time. They are in streets street maintenance department they have in the past. On page 43, they used forestry, they used to spend a ton there, so each year it varies with that. Page 43 also, parks. You see those equipment and maintenance. Just another thing we're trying to correct in the referendum budget. We have a lot of maintenance. We had money in there for building repairs. So this is kind of the examples, another example of that, why we need that.
Mark, on page 43, on the parks, there's a line, San Damiano expenditures. Can you explain what that is?
Yeah, so basically, right now, any expenditures, this would be any supplies for that, for Sandom, any like tree cutting, porta potties, that's all grouped in there. And then at the end of the year, we'll do send them a bill at the end of the year for those expenditures. And also, we are tracking their wages too, salaries, how they're allocated, and we'll send them a bill early January, February.
Send a bill to the Friends.
To the Friends for that.
Okay.
Last year was roughly, I'm rounding up, and it was 29 something, but basically 30,000. We received, it was basically 15%, non-personnel and 15%. 15,000 personnel, 15% non-personnel. It's basically what it ended up being last year. So we-
Alder DePula, we're going through the
Oh.
financial report right now. We're on page 43.
Okay, thank you.
And the other one is, the two I just want to hit and move on here, is the library. We kind of talked about this, that it's going to be a little bit under budget this year. I just put projected 20,000, it should be projected loss, so.
What page is that there?
Page 48.
48, yeah, what's the story there?
Hopefully there's some savings. This goes back to those bonuses and some other stuff with their salaries that we kind of talked about in the past. And I'll put them
I
over.
thought they took that out of their fund balance.
Well, in the end, it will come in their fund balance. So at the end of the year, when we say it's a loss, that means it comes out of their fund balance. We can't put a line in, for accounting purposes, we can't put it in a fund balance account. It just goes against whatever.
So you can't do that till the end of the year, is that,
Well, at the end of the year, whatever gain or loss goes against their fund balance.
okay.
So it would come out, technically, if they're losing 20,000, it comes out of their fund balance. And that's where the bonus is what it came out of.
How much do they still have in their fund balance?
One time they had, I think it was around 90,000. They had in there. It's roughly between 80 and 90. I think it's 90.
I mean, several of these overages aren't due to,
No, that's not, but the other one would be the building repair and maintenance.
right, but there's also, like office supplies, there's professional development is almost double what's budgeted.
Yeah,
Electronic information sources, the book lease program.
yeah. So, yeah, it will be but in the end, I mean, a lot of times they might be over at one, but they try to stay under on the other one. So, like, book electronic information, this is how most all the departments that do. Like, they'll be over on one by, this one says, like, book lease is over by basically 1,000. So they won't spend as much on children's books. They'll reduce that by 1,000.
Okay.
So the two ones they're going to be going over at the end of the year will be the building maintenance. It's kind of the whole story throughout the city is we have a ton of maintenance
Right.
issues,
Right.
and then the part-time wages for those payouts. In page 50, the cable TV shows that currently we have a loss of 18,000, but we're still waiting on the third quarter school payment and the third quarter financial franchise fee. So if that was in there, we'd be in the positive right now. So it looks like we're under, but we're okay for now. Page 51, just want to hit on this kind of quick. If you go to page 52, kind of summarize there's four funds in this, they call it 204, I call it. Community Center, this year it's right on track to break even. Rec, looks like we're gaining 60 to 80,000. Senior Center, break even. Outdoor Pool, could be between 30 and 40,000 loss on that. And kind of if you go to page 53, or 54 for the pool. And kind of what the big issue there is. If you go to the last two lines in the outdoor pool chemicals, they were really budgeted in equipment maintenance account, but I broke them out because it's really not an equipment maintenance repair. But we spent $30,000 just in the pool chemicals. Equipment maintenance repairs, that's just repairing just on other stuff. So that's one of the main reasons is the chemicals and the repairs are kind of putting us over at the top for that. That's why I'm projecting that loss.
So they didn't separate that when they were putting together the budget last fall, though?
No, they didn't.
Okay.
It used to be in pool operating supplies, and then he moved it to, I didn't realize he moved it to equipment maintenance. I don't know what his thought process was. But either way, so I broke it out anyways, because it's such a large item that affects that pool. I just wanted to break that out.
So I assume some of the pool operating supplies, is there a little bit of money left there that would cover part of that?
It's gonna cover a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, they have 7,600,
Okay.
but you're still over budget by, I mean, you're at 90, not almost 100% of your budget at the end of the year, and you still got some salaries coming through. You got, or at the end of the year, you got your gas and electric, you got your water. And if you go back to page 51, I made a note. If you kind of look at the, kind of highlight number 1, we're short 15,000 this year compared to the budget for the pool, so that's included in there. So we're going to be 50 short
Okay.
on the revenues, over on the expenses. That's where that's kind of coming from. That's projected. In the, oh, go ahead.
On the outdoor pool, so if we have a $30,000 loss, meaning it's 30,000 over budget, I guess, then we either would need to increase the amount of property taxes that go to it from 122 up to some bigger number,
Yeah.
or or increase other revenues. And there are, park board approved, Jake had proposed some pretty, stiff,
Yeah.
not huge, but noticeable increases in all the pool fees, all the park fees.
Yeah. No, exactly what you have to do, one or the
So,
other.
Patrick, did you have a question?
Yeah, I was just thinking that, we did discuss raising the pool fees next year in part, but in my opinion, not necessarily raising them enough. But, we run the issue of pricing the pool out of range for some of our more income challenged families. So, it's just, we either increase the fees, increase the taxes to support it, or, when I was looking at the cost earlier today, I was curious. I was looking at some fees around Dane County, and I noticed that, Shorewood, for like residents alone, obviously it's Shorewood, but it's like $750 a year for like a family pass. Whereas, for us, it's like $250. And, but, the reality of it is, as we're looking at all of this, are we delivering a service or trying to make a profit? And I don't think we're trying to make a profit. Anyway.
that's good, because we never do.
Yeah.
Not with
Yeah.
the pool. Even in
Yeah.
a good year, it's.
Yeah.
I
I would say,
don't mean it's over budget, but it needs property tax support.
and it's one of those where, I mean, if you, I cited Shorewoods because I saw their memberships. Yeah, it's basically a membership.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a private pool.
Yeah, but if you can contact Sun Prairie and some other communities, and they would tell you the same thing. The pool is, kind of a loss leader.
Yeah.
Yep.
But,
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where, obviously it's important to our community. Yeah, anyway.
if you
just
think
some
about
thoughts.
it, Cottage Grove doesn't have a pool. They just have, McFarland doesn't have a pool. I don't believe Fitchburg. So there's not a lot of pools in the area.
Right.
So this is, one of those things that comes with the city is you get the pool and it's not.
Yeah, the pool in Monona's a big deal,
Mhm.
Sure.
so.
Page 55, it's kind of what hit on EMS. If you go to page, we had some billing issues, kind of at the beginning of the year and then throughout the year. I know the chief has been working with our provider, so we're a little bit behind this year. So hopefully by the end of the year, we'll kind of get caught up on that. And so that kind of broke out what we received so far through the date, what the average should be. This is, benchmark, what it should be, like almost 48,000 per month. We should get a lump sum from the state, kind of this Medicare issue. The state pays us a little bit of a difference. We haven't received yet that either. So they're looking at that. Because of that issue, it's one of those things that's hard to tell what the final numbers are going to be with that. So hopefully we'll see how it keeps on going, but it seems like the billing is doing a little bit better with that. So that's all I have. Well, I kind of put in here, I got tourism in here. So page 60 kind of shows where everything's been spent on, where we're at that. So I don't know if anybody else has any questions.
So these ones outstanding, they haven't requested payment yet, is that the?
So, yep, they have not requested payment.
Usually it's a couple of closing invoices or something there.
Like MG Sings.
Like MG Sings, that the event doesn't happen until
Right.
Yeah.
February, right? So,
Yeah.
any questions, Patrick or Doug?
No.
Okay, well, thank you, Mark. Should we just run through the bills right now, too, while we're there? There's not too much.
Sure.
I guess there is a little more than I thought.
Well,
Or
but
no, maybe not, no.
basically on page 79, I don't know.
Yeah.
If you look at page, there's not a lot of page 81, 80, this whole stuff. You'll see a notation called Fall Festival. So a lot of it, there's a lot of Fall Festival stuff in here, this check run. Page 81, 82 is our Lake Ridge Bank in there.
Do we know if they brought in funding to cover part of that, or?
The Fall Festival?
Yeah,
They do bring in money. I haven't seen the numbers yet,
okay.
but I know they do bring in money. To what dollar amount, I don't know yet. There's a lot of stuff in there. Page 84, Park Protector is what do you call it, Park Trail we're finishing up. But a lot of it's, related to the, page 85, Trees and Wheels, Huska Park trees, that's part of our capital budget. Water electric supplies, streetlight fixtures. It's just one of those repairs that adds up again. And that's all I have.
Any questions about the bills? Is there a motion to accept them?
So moved.
Motion to accept?
Second?
All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion passes. Thank you. We are going to move back here to item 6A, convene in closed session under Wisconsin Statute Section 19.85, paren 1, paren E, deliberating or negotiating the purchasing of public properties, the investing of public funds, or conducting other specified public business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require closed session. And this involves the development agreement amendment with Besa Monona LLC. Is there a motion to move into closed session?
Motion to move into closed session?
Second?
The clerk, please call the roll.
Was that me? I didn't quite hear that.
Yes.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, we are in closed session. And Will, did you get that? Tom Patrick?